Katie Couric parodies controversial Sydney Sweeney ad exclusive. Katie Couric is trading her hospital gown for great jeans. The self-described screen queen is revisiting the legendary moment when she received an on-air colonoscopy on Today's Show 2 years after her husband Jay Monahan died from colon cancer. Poking fun at Sydney Sweeney's controversial American Eagle ad, the journalist teamed up with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance and Ryan Reynolds production company Maximum Effort for a PSA encouraging people to get screened for colorectal cancer, regardless of whether they are genetically vulnerable to the disease. The cheeky spot opens with Couric in a hospital bed, sporting a Sweeney-inspired jean jacket, saying, "Speaking of genes, did you know the majority of people who develop colon cancer are not genetically predisposed to the disease? That's why doctors recommend everyone 45 and older get checked." Couric adds in a slightly suggestive tone, "Mine are televised," before she dismisses a clinician's request to have her camera crew back off. Sydney Sweeney jeans ad parodied by Katie Couric. Katie Couric stars in a new PSA from the Colorectal Cancer Alliance and Maximum Effort. Katie Couric is trading her hospital gown for great jeans. The self-described screen queen is revisiting the legendary moment when she received an on-air colonoscopy on Today's Show 2 years after her husband Jay Monahan died from colon cancer. Poking fun at Sydney Sweeney's controversial American Eagle ad, the journalist teamed up with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance and Ryan Reynolds production company Maximum Effort for a PSA encouraging people to get screened for colorectal cancer, regardless of whether they are genetically vulnerable to the disease. The cheeky spot opens with Couric in a hospital bed, sporting a Sweeney-inspired jean jacket, saying, "Speaking of genes, did you know the majority of people who develop colon cancer are not genetically predisposed to the disease? That's why doctors recommend everyone 45 and older get checked." Couric adds in a slightly suggestive tone, "Mine are televised," before she dismisses a clinician's request to have her camera crew back off. Couric says she had fun shooting the ad with Reynolds' clever and talented team, saying she enjoyed making fun of herself in the process. "I had more makeup than I've worn for probably 5 years," she said. "I try to be a little fetching and a little seductive, which was also pretty funny." Reflecting on the Today Show screening 25 years ago, Couric said she wanted to do the spot because the importance of screenings bears repeating. She said that screening, referencing a 2003 study, led to an increase of colonoscopies by 20%, dubbed the Katie Couric effect. She called the impact on public awareness incredible and gratifying. "I think it was one of the first times that a journalist or a public figure had really undergone a medical procedure on national television," she said. "I hope that I was instrumental in destigmatizing both the disease and the fact that you can get screened for colon cancer. It's one of those cancers that is highly preventable if it's caught early." Couric's late husband, lawyer, and NBC News legal analyst Jay Monahan died in 1998 after a colon cancer diagnosis in early 1997. She has been a spokeswoman for colon cancer awareness ever since. Her advocacy has extended to other cancers. She received a mammogram on Today in 2005, nearly 2 decades before her breast cancer diagnosis. She also helped launch the Alex Trebek Fund with the late Jeopardy host widow to fund pancreatic cancer research. Reflecting on that first, fairly unusual screening, she said audiences gravitated to the segment as they recognized her sincerity amid her loss. "I think because people understood that my motives were very pure, that I had experienced this tremendous loss and I wanted to help prevent it from happening to other families, that it added an additional level to the importance of the messaging, if you will." The Katie Couric Media co-founder adds that, in addition to the Lead from Behind campaign at encouraging audiences 45 and older to get screened, she's also concerned about the increase in diagnoses for younger people. By 2030, the number of people under 50 with colorectal cancer is going to double. So we need to not only make sure that people 45 and over get screened, but we need to start really trying to understand what's happening in these younger people, she said, and perhaps developing a less invasive test that they can do, because it is such a tragedy when young people are diagnosed with this disease and they didn't have an opportunity to get screened and prevent it from spreading. Couric's ad follows similarly comical campaign spots from Reynolds and Rob Mack, as well as Terry Crews, which she thinks are particularly powerful because of their use of humor. She adds, "I hope it'll get people talking, and more importantly, I hope it will get people calling their doctors and making appointments. Julia Louis-Dreyfus' appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live was more than just a lighthearted celebrity interview. It became a subtle reflection of America's ongoing struggle between free speech, political polarization, and media responsibility. Jimmy Kimmel's brief show cancellation, following his remarks about Charlie Kirk's tragic death, revealed the volatile intersection of politics and entertainment in modern U.S. media. When Julia Louis-Dreyfus joked that her dog Ethel was a big fan of the First Amendment, it wasn't just a throwaway line. It cleverly underscored the tension surrounding freedom of expression in today's climate. The episode highlights how late-night talk shows have evolved beyond comedy. They now serve as platforms for political discourse, social commentary, and cultural reflection. Kimmel's criticism of conservative reactions, ABC's corporate caution, and the audience's strong return response all show that public sentiment still values authenticity and truth, even when wrapped in humor. At the same time, Louis-Dreyfus brought a nostalgic and human touch by revisiting her iconic bad dance from Seinfeld, reminding viewers that comedy connects generations and bridges tension with laughter. In essence, this Jimmy Kimmel Live episode is a microcosm of today's American media landscape, where satire, politics, and personal expression coexist in an uneasy but essential balance. It reaffirms that, no matter how divisive times become, humor remains one of the most powerful tools for truth and resilience.